Saibhai, firstly, all of us enjoyed this win, but I was looking at the television. I think you seem to have enjoyed it a little more than all of us. You were up on your chair, wearing your favorite, jacket. Just tell us those last few moments, how it panned out for you.
Well, it was such an emotional moment. Jacket is, I wore this jacket on the last day of the Gabba test, and I haven't worn it since. Definitely not at a cricket game. And so when day before yesterday, when I presented Shubman Gill with a little memento, because I had got it on in the morning to give it to him in anticipation of him going past 774. He didn't go back, but I still wanted to present him with that. And at that time, I said to him, "Look, I was going to wear this jacket because I think it's a lucky jacket." And I wore it yesterday. And so today again, when
talking about the jacket, and we heard you till there, but I'd like you to tell us about what happened when you went onto the chair. Was it impromptu? What made you stand up there celebrating that win?
it was impromptu because it was just 6 runs the difference. So a good connection from Atkinson, the ball could have gone over, and then it over the boundary. So the connection was not there. He missed it completely. Clever delivery again, anticipating that he was going to be playing a cross batted because he was looking to play the big shot. Clever bowling, clever delivery from Mohammed Siraj. So when that winning moment came, it was just emotional again. Getting up and trying to celebrate another win for Indian cricket.
So we are celebrating it because it is an improbable win. It is improbable, we say that, from the situation where England were at one moment. There was a stage where they were needing less than 100 runs. Both Harry Brook and Joe Root on the crease. They were looking like they will win it on a canter. Where do you think in this entire test match you began to believe that India can pull off this miracle? Where do you think was the turning point of this game?
It has to be, I think, around when Joe Root got out. Harry Brook had already got out at that stage. Jacob Bethel had got out. And now Joe Root was the real load person. There was Jamie Smith, of course, who can turn the game around. But I think the wicket of Root, because Root really has been the batter who has held this team together. The sparkling stroke players like, the Duckets and the Crawleys and the Harry Brooks and the Jamie Smiths are all over there. But the person who has really held this team batting together, Joe Root. When Joe Root fished outside the off stump and was caught behind, that really was what the Indian team wanted. Because now suddenly they had two inexperienced players at either end. And therefore you could put pressure on them, which is exactly what India did.
Saiba, you were there at the ground. For all of us watching from miles away on the television screen, what really changed in that final session? Because before that, even if we talk about a Joe Root dismissal or even Jacob Bethel who was looking uncomfortable, or then the batters that followed, because till then, the first two sessions, it seemed like it was a batting paradise. Something really changed from that final session. Was it the extra effort that the Indian bowlers were putting? Was it that the ball changed its nature? Was it that the pitch changed its nature? What really happened from there on where the English batters found it very tough to get back to ball?
I think it got a little overcast, and that helped the ball to swing a lot more. What we've seen is that in the first 10, 15 overs, while the ball is new, it is hard. It comes onto the bat quite nicely. Then it starts to swing a little bit. And then from, say, for another 15, 20 overs, then from 35 overs onwards, 40 overs onwards, it becomes a lot easier for the batters to bat because the ball doesn't do much. But I think it was the overcast conditions that certainly helped the ball to swing a little bit. And that's where the wickets came. If you saw the wicket, Bethel, for example, was just not able to get going. And Root also had to really wait a little while to get to his 3900. And then he got out fishing outside to a ball that moved a little bit after pitching. So that is where the game changed. I think the overcast conditions, it had just clouded over. In the morning, it was hot, which took a lot of energy out of the bowlers and didn't allow the bowlers also the help from the atmosphere to be able to get the ball to swing and to move off the surface.
So overall, apart from some good cricketing action that we've seen from both the teams, it's been a bit of a prickly series. There has been a few things said on and off the field. We know what happened, when 90 seconds late, the English batters came. Then a bit of a aji-baji with the groundsman as well, that handshake controversy. So it's been a bit of a prickly series. But one thing that we've seen from these Indian teams in the last decade or so, whenever they're pushed to the wall, whenever they are put under pressure, they come out with that extra spirit. Do you think it is also down to that, the character of the team, that whenever they've been pushed into a corner, they come up with their best performances?
Yes, you could certainly see that. There's no question about it, because the way they fought back from difficult situations. And that is all down to the captain as well. The captain is the one who never gave up. The captain is the one who sold his wicket, dearly. He wasn't giving his wicket away even after he got 100, even after he got a double 100, even after he got 250. He wasn't giving it away. So that is the spirit with which this team played, hanging in there, uh, irrespective of what the situation is. And that is the reason why, in a tough situation, they used to find that little extra bit of energy that took them over the line.
Saibai, now to the player of the series for India. It has been given to Shubman Gill. Outstanding series for him, record-breaking series for him. But I've got a message from the All India Bowling Union, and they're saying on pitches where it was good for batting, lots of runs scored, here is a man in Mohammed Siraj who picks up 23 wickets. Would you have given it to a Siraj, or do you think, no, Shubman was the right man?
Well, yes, I think, there's always the saying that the bowlers win your matches. But the fact of the matter is that you've also got to score the runs. So because India didn't score the runs in the 2 test matches that they played, or didn't score enough runs, they were not able to win the match. So yes, I think he bowled his heart out, and I think he's debunked forever this business of workload. I hope that workload word goes out of the Indian cricket dictionary. I've been saying that for a long, long time. For 5 test matches, non-stop, he's bowled 6 overs, 7 over, 8 over spells, because the captain wanted it, because the country expected of him. And I think that is the one thing that we all should keep in mind, that this workload is only a mental thing, not so much a physical thing. And if you are going to succumb to people who are talking about workload, then you are never going to have your best players on the field. You've got to get them to a situation where you say, hello, you're playing for your country. When you're playing for your country, forget the aches and pains and muscles and whatever. You play for your country, because that is what people do on the border. You think the Jawans complain about the cold, about what is the situation? They are there to give their lives for the country. So similarly, while it's not a question of giving your life for the country, give your very best for the country. Don't worry about aches and pains. What did Rishabh Pant show you? He came out to bat with a fracture. That is the kind of thing you want to expect from the team. That's the thing that you want to expect. Don't go by this little injury, that injury. You want to play for your country. This is an honor given to you amongst the 140 crores of people. You are so lucky to be able to represent India, and you should not take that lightly. That is the only thing. And this is what we have seen with Mohammed Siraj. 5 test matches, bowling non-stop.
Okay. Saibhai, overall, if I look back at this particular win as such, and we are celebrating it because, India wins from a very unlikely position, would it go down as one of India's finest wins in overseas conditions, this win at Oval?
Oh, most definitely it'll go down. Because look, the conditions were not easy at all to bat, and to be able to come back the way they have. It certainly goes down as one of the finest wins that India has ever had. A lot of people will rate, the Gabba win, and one can understand that as well, because Gabba was almost like a second or a third string team with all your best players injured. So therefore, to win at Gabba, and Australia had never lost at Gabba till then for 30, 40 years. So that was also a special, very special win. But this win also coming, 2-1 down, the recovery in Manchester, and then the final win over here to level the series. And this has got to go down as amongst the greatest of wins in Indian cricket history.
Okay, that was about the win. That's some high praise by Mr. Gavaskar, comparing it to that famous Gabba win. But Saibhai, overall the series, it's 2-2. What does this series result do to this young transitional Indian team? And even if I don't call them young, they are of course going through a transition where a few players have gone. We have got a new captain, some players who are playing their first series. So we were looking at what happens to India's long-term test future. What does this 2-2 tell you? That the future is safe? Would they take this 2-2 as a kind of a victory in England?
Yes, because as I said earlier, it's never easy to win overseas. You can win comfortably at home, but overseas, even if you get a drawn series like India have done, having come back the way they have come back, yes, you could say that the future is very, very good. This is what we've seen. Look at the opening bat. The Jaiswal, Rahul is still around for at least half a dozen years, if not more. And then, you have a very good, promising player at Sai Sudarshan at 3. You've got the captain at 4. So it is a very good batting lineup. And then the bowling as well. I mean, Siraj is only 30. So he's got another 5 years at least ahead of him. And Prasidh Krishna also took wickets. I think with Siraj, the more he plays, he will bowl in a way where he does not give away those boundaries. He will maybe, occasional boundaries, part of the game. But, the kind of the boundaries that he was sometimes leaking in the earlier test matches was getting you a little bit worried. But he's also got better and better as the series has gone on. So I think if you look at the potential of this side, the reserves who are there, you know that the future, as far as Test cricket is concerned, for India is pretty good, pretty good.
Okay, Saima, since we're looking at the future and I spoke to you about the team, what do you think this 2-2 result has done to the future of the coach in Gautam Gambhir? He was under the cosh because, not great results in test match cricket. Do you think this 2-2 has also given him a lifeline to get that extension as the test coach as well?
Yes, definitely. I think you've got to, they've also had a role to play. You cannot take that away. The coaching staff has had a big role to play because they have been the ones who have kept the morale of the team up throughout the series, despite the fact that things have not gone well. So yes, I don't see why there is this talk. Yes, I think you could possibly argue that if this match was lost, that there could have been changes. But I think we must get down to a situation just like we do at the test level for the players, where we give players enough chances before deciding the player is not good enough for test cricket or for international cricket. Similarly, I think we need to give time to the coaching staff as well.
So my final question before we let you go and before we wind up the program. Jasprit Bumrah, you spoke about workload management. Now this series is done. We know that going forward, he may not be available regularly in Test cricket. How do you see the future? Is it time that you reconsider Jasprit Bumrah in Test match cricket, or do you then handle him with kid's glove and ensure that he's available for a few important series, not for a few other series? Because there's a bit of uncertainty around that. I don't know how that impacts the team. What is your thought as in Jasprit Bumrah's long-term Test future?
I think for the home series is something that there should not be a problem. It's for the overseas series where you're taking a team overseas that the balance of the team can get affected. At home, you have ample time to call on reserves, so it's not so much of an issue. But going overseas, you have to maybe look at that factor. And the workload thing is one thing. But an injury thing is another thing. In his case, we are not talking about the workload. His was not a workload issue. His was, I think, a question of, what the back could take, because he's had a serious injury. And so therefore, I think that also has to be taken into consideration. When he played the test matches, he took 5 first. India might not have won, but, he took those 5 wickets hauls as well. So you mustn't forget what a wonderful bowler he is.